You went out and bought yourself a brand new 4K 120 hertz television for your gaming consoles. You have the Xbox Series X or S, and you have the PS5, so you're ready to go. But then you hooked up your soundbar like this Bose to realize that you only have one HDMI 2.1 port left. So what do? Well, you can play one gaming console at 60 hertz and play the second one at 120 hertz, or you can switch out the HDMI cable every time you want to get the best out of your consoles. Or you can use this selector box. And what this is a HDMI 2.1 selector that allows you to run in two consoles, and then you have one output so you can switch between those two gaming consoles anytime you like. I'm Tech Steve, and on this video, I'm going to show you guys everything you need to know to get this up and running and see if it's the solution for you. Taking a look at the selector box, the design is very simple. On one side of it, you have two inputs, and on the other side, you have one output. And just so you guys know, it is bi-directional, so you can run one console into it and run it out to two separate displays. However, you only can select one display at a time. In the box, it comes with an instruction guide and a USB cable. And just so you guys know, you can power it off the HDMI outputs. However, they don't recommend it because you never know if the power source is low. Just plug in the USB cable and you'll be fine. Another thing to consider when buying a selector like this is that it will not upconvert a 60 hertz television up to 120 hertz. You must have a native 120 hertz television to get the benefit. However, if you do have a 4K 60 hertz television, it will work just fine because it is backwards compatible. Now, for those who have the 120 hertz television, you need to make sure that you have HDMI 2.1 cables in order for this to work. In some cases, you will have to buy additional cables to make everything plug in the correct way. Installation only took a few minutes. I plugged the HDMI 2.1 cable into the back of the PS5, and then I plugged in a second cable into the back of the Xbox Series S. Then I took a third HDMI 2.1 cable and plugged it into the back of the Sony X85J. I made sure I plugged in the USB cable for consistent power, and then I plugged everything into the selector box the correct way, and this is a diagram of what it looks like. I will tell you that every television has its own configuration, but since we're using a Sony television, let me walk you through the process. First of all, you want to go over to your settings, go over to channel and inputs, and then go to external inputs. Under external inputs, we want to then go down to where it says HDMI signal format, and just want to make sure that input 4 that we're using is toggled over to enhance. Now there's a few other features here like Dolby Vision and VRR. We're just going to use enhance to show you guys an example of 120 hertz. So let's check out the PS5. So if we go into settings and go down here to where it says screen and video output, you can see that it's saying 3840 by 2160 at 120 hertz. So it is ready for 4K 120 hertz gaming. Now what I'm going to do is press the button on the center and move over to the Xbox. And here's the Xbox. You can see it's showing 4K at 120 hertz. And if we go into TV details, you can see that it will support up to 120 hertz 4K using the cables that's provided, and it's running through the switcher. Now, a few things to point out here. I am getting auto low latency and I am getting HDR. However, to get variable refresh rate and Dolby Vision, you need to go back into the menu on this television and retoggle it. All right, so now I'm back in the Sony menu. Let's go over here to Dolby Vision, and then we'll go back into the gaming console. And you can see that the Dolby Vision is now enabled, but we lost the low latency, and that's just a design of some of the Sony televisions. Now let's see if we can get the VRR to go through. Okay, now we're back into the menu of the Sony television, and then we're going to go down to input 4 and see if the VRR will actually work. After I retoggled it in the television, now the VRR is actually working. So as you can see, you're not going to lose anything by hooking up the selector box, but you're gaining one more input on your television for the HDMI 2.1. Now, I know you guys are probably wondering how good is the input lag pass-through. Well, I did test that, and this Sony in gaming mode was doing around 14.8, 14.7 milliseconds. And after I plugged in my input lag tester on the other side of the splitter, I was getting the exact same amount of milliseconds. Now I'm running it at 60 hertz because that's all my tester will do, but you can see you're going to get pretty much the same signal in as you get out, which is pretty respectful. And here's some last specifications for you guys. So if you run 8K, you can go all the way up to 60 hertz, 4K can go all the way up to 144 Hertz. 440p can support up to 120 Hertz, and 1080p can support up to 240 Hertz. So after watching this video, if it's a product that you need, go ahead and click on the links in the description where you can read other people's reviews. And if you want to purchase it, it's only around $36 when it's not on sale, but it's always on sale on Amazon. So I want to give a special thanks to Llano for sponsoring this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace!